let's look at how we find an estimated sample size based on a proportion. I want to know how many people I go out to survey, or how many people I call on the phone, or how many people I need in my sample essentially. And for the proportion, you can find the formula for this on page 441. I've written it here in blue for you. We're going to look at an example in which a researcher wishes to estimate the proportion of adults who have high-speed internet access. What size sample should be obtained if she wishes the estimate to be accurate within 0.03 with 99% confidence? So let's look at what we should fill in. The proportion for what she has an estimate of based on past studies is 0.69 or 69% of adults. I'll go ahead and use my calculator. 1 minus 0.69 is 0.31. Now where do you get the z-value? That comes from your very favorite page 410, where we had the level of confidence and the z constant, and you can look up the 99%, 2.575. And we divide this by our margin of error. They want to be accurate to within 0.03, so that is our margin of error. Now how can we use a calculator to help us out with this? Let's get our calculator out. In order to do some squaring, I'm going to go up to the view. Yours might look like this, smaller. I'm going to go up to the view and turn it into scientific. Now let's be very careful with our order of operations. We want to do what's in the parentheses first, or 2.575 divided by 0.03. 85.833. I'm going to square this by pushing the squared button that's 2 to the left of the number 7. Then I can go ahead and multiply this by 0.31 and hit the equal sign. And then I'll multiply it by 0.69. So be sure you divide first, then square, then multiply, giving me a sample of 1,575.87, or 1,576 people. Now it's important to note, if you did this calculation along with me and you rounded your values at some point, I left mine all in the calculator. If you rounded your values at some point, that's fine, but you're probably going to get a slightly different sample size. And as long as you have your work shown and what you put in the formula to do that, you're welcome to have done that. Now if you're trying to type this out, people say, well, how do I type this fraction? This fraction doesn't look particularly fun to type. I might type this as n equals 0.69 times 0.31. The asterisk on the number 8 does usually represent the times sign. This didn't move down correctly, but 2.575 divided by the slash is division. And then you have the caret, which is above the number 6. That can be used to represent your exponent. So if you're trying to show your work, that's a perfectly fine way to type this out. Now what happens if she doesn't have any prior estimates? If you don't have any prior estimates, the important thing is your p hat, or your proportion, is considered 0.5 if you don't have any prior studies to estimate this off, or 50-50. So if I were to fill this in, 0.5, 0.5 for 1 minus 0.5, the z-value will stay the same because I'm sticking with 95% confidence. The e, or the margin of error, will also stay the same, and I'm going to square that. So let's take my calculator back out. Let's be sure we definitely clear this out to start with. 2.575 divided by 0.03 squared times 0.5 times 0.5, 1,841.8, or 1,842 people. So you could see how having that prior estimate allows her to cut out approximately 334 people, which can be very valuable in terms of time and money. Let's look at how to find the sample size from a proportion problem.